Hi, this is April, and I'm in the home of Miss Jamie, excuse me, Mrs. Jamie Gross. And the topic today will be teenage pregnancy, the hows, the whats, and the whens. Let me start off by saying that I think teenage pregnancy is something that we need to embrace as a country, and we need to be able to be supports to young ladies or even the men that are involved in these type of situations. Which brings us to Miss Gross, and we're going to start off by talking about our relationship, how I know Miss Gross and how our relationship came to be. Miss Gross?
Hi. I met Miss Carter about 5 or 6 years ago. She was my case manager while I was a board of the court in the system. She was one of the best case managers that I had. She was more caring than usual, and we have become friends and stayed friends since then.
Right. Since then, wow, that was some time ago. And I must say that Miss Gross has evolved into such a wonderful, absolutely wonderful mom and young woman. When I met Miss Gross, she had one child, and she now has three children. And when I say she has evolved, she has definitely evolved. So let's just have a dialogue about what it meant to you to be a teenage mom, and how did that feel, and did any type of stigmas come along with that?
Yes. I was always good in school, and being a teenage mom, I was told, I graduated high school at 16. I was told by people older than me, adults, that I should go to a community college. When I graduated at the top of my class out of high school, had the highest SAT score out of the entire school, without even knowing me, without knowing any of that information, just because I was a teen parent, I was actually told by certain people that I should go to community college. That was one stigma, just like I was slow because I was a teen parent. A lot of people have told me I wouldn't make it. I've always been very goal-orientated, but I've been told that I would not reach my goals just by me being a teen parent, especially once my second child came along. So it's definitely a stigma put on teen parents in this area.
Okay, and let me tell you one of my most fondest moments or memories of Miss Gross when I first met her. Like she said, I was her case manager when she was in the system, and I had a caseload of probably about 15 girls, and Miss Gross was one of my favorites. Nobody really supposed to have favorites, but she was my favorite. She was my favorite because I saw that she was very determined and, like she said, goal-oriented. She had a lot of opportunities afforded to her, and she took a lot of advantage of it. When I met her, she was going to Trinity College, or actually planning on starting, maybe about the next semester or something, when I first met her. So she basically had goals from day one when I met her. And I was like, wow, this young girl got it on the ball. So whatever it is that I need to do to go above and beyond, I'm going to make sure I help her the best way I can, whatever that meant. Sometimes it meant that I had to stay at work later. Sometimes it meant that I had to knock on her door and probably pester her a little more than normal and stuff like that. But she always had a pleasant attitude. Like, Miss Carter, I didn't do this, or Miss Carter, I forgot about this, or, Miss Carter, I need to go A, B, and C, or Miss Carter, I got to go, register for school and stuff like that. So she was always motivated to do what it is that she needed to do. And that always made me feel like if this child is motivated, not saying child demeaning, but she was young, I'm going to do my part to help her. And she always embraced everything I suggested. For the most part, she made her own decisions, but she was basically open, and she wanted to just basically like, okay, if that's what I got to do, and she did it. And here we are 5, 6 years later. She just got married, 3 days ago? Saturday. So now she is Mrs. Gross. And like I said, I have not met her youngest child, but she has 3 children. And when I knew her back then, she was a wonderful mom. And I'm sure she's an excellent mom now. So let me move on to my next question. Let's talk about support. When you think about being a teenage mom, and if you wanted to actually reach out to teenage moms, what would be the first thing that comes to your mind when you actually think of support and how you can support a teenage mom?
Well, number one, when I was younger, before I had my son, I was very hard-headed. I didn't want to listen to other people's advice. That's one thing that truly changed when I got pregnant with Dayron. I had to sit back and decide, you know what, I haven't done this before, and I'm quite sure a lot of people out here know more about this, raising a child, than I do.
Right.
And that's when my whole mindset changed, me being pregnant with Dayron, with my oldest child. I decided that I needed to take other people's advice. So I noticed a lot of teen parents nowadays, they still might be in that mindset on they know it all. You have to be willing to at least listen to what other people are advising you of. That doesn't mean you have to accept it, because not everybody's going to be right. But at least listen to it and think about it, and you decide, you know, which decision is right. But at least listen to it. Be willing to open your ears and listen to it.
Right. Okay, I like that, because that says a lot. Aside from you know, of the other girls that was on my caseload, and when you talk about listening was something that most of them didn't do. And hence, when I did have the one that listened, it was like I poured into them because they listened. Of course, I talk a lot. We all know I talk a lot, but that's okay. That's what makes me unique. But at the end of the day, when I take a step back and think about my role, what could I have done different to help you attain anything that it is that you needed?
What could you have done different?
Yeah, what could I have done different?
I wish more of the case managers was like you. I really don't know. Miss Carter, you were there for me after hours. I mean, you were there for me whenever I needed you. I had your cell phone number. I had your house phone number.
Right.
It's nothing you really could have done extra. You were always there. I knew I could call on you, if not anybody else. So.
Okay. All right. Well, that says a whole lot. That says a whole lot. So when I called you and I talked to you about my Sierra's gifts, and you were so willing to assist me with that, what was the first thing that you thought of when you was like, oh wow, Miss Carter doing something called Sierra's Gift, and I told you what it was about? Why were you so willing to help me with that?
Well, it touches me personally, because I was in that situation. You know, I was a teen mom. I was 19, I believe, when I got pregnant with my second child, so I did it twice, you know, and being awarded the court kind of made it harder. So me, myself, I've always been looking for a way to give back, you know, and to help other people that were in my situation. So that's why it interested me.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not really going to talk a whole lot. I just wanted to just kind of get a little snippet of you and your experience, and talk a little bit about Sierra's Gifts, and just kind of go from there. So we're basically, like I said, starting Sierra's Gifts. We have our very first venue on December the 11th from 7 to 11 at the Spotlight Cafe, and I hope to see everyone there. Thank you.